So I thought I'd do a little video on what I took on to Tour Aotearoa 2024, how I did it, all my gear and everything. I did the tour in 25 days, 3,100 kilometers and just under 30,000 meters of climbing, 29,000 meters of climbing or something like that. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, so I guess I'll get into the bags. So the bags were Apparel bags, which are a New Zealand company. So they provide the rack system, and also up the front there, another bag, which is very good for me because with a full suspension mountain bike, I wasn't able to have a frame bag like most people. So I sort of had to carry these sort of pannier style bags, which are really good. Made good for me on the downhills and in the rough stuff with a full suspension. Oop, bike's trying to fall over. So in one bag had my tent, which I didn't really have to keep the tent in the bag, but it did give it extra protection. So it is Empire Mono, one person tent. It's not the lightest, definitely not the biggest, it's bloody tiny, it's like sleeping in a coffin. But it just, yeah, didn't have the money at the time to buy a very flash one. It's something I can upgrade later on, which is, yeah, something I will definitely do. But it worked well, kept me mostly dry. We did have quite a bit of rain, so yeah, every evening when you got to camp, it was definitely get the tent up quickly and try and dry it out from the night before, even from the really heavy dews that we got. Soaked everything. Yeah, and packing up a wet tent every morning was never fun. On the other side, all over, I had all my clothing. Now I took maybe a little bit more clothing than most people. I guess that was kind of my luxury item, was having a bit more spare clothing. Merino beanie, they call them, yeah, well, scuff or something like that, go around your neck, put up over your ears. Really, really good. I use this heaps actually. You hardly use the beanie, but this I use lots. Arm warmers, I think they were from Enzo here in Rotorua. They were really, really good. I use them lots. Just every morning I had those on. Well, mainly in the South Island. Top dry bag was my camp clothing. So I had a pair of shorts, which I ended up hardly wearing because it got so cold all the time. A merino t-shirt, that's from Enzo as well. That was really, really good. Merino underwear. And I did have another pair of socks in there. Again, all merino. Just good thing with merino, it doesn't smell. Well, it takes a while for it to smell. It's really warm when it's wet and dry, and dries really, really quickly. So it's, yeah, awesome gear. I tried to take as much merino as I possibly could. Riding shirt, I think that was a ground effect shirt. So I had two riding shirts. But yeah, obviously I was always wearing one. Merino socks, another more merino socks. Bibs, so I had two pairs of bibs. Kind of mainly wore one lost because you end up getting to camp and washing all your gear in the shower, and then you try and dry it out as much as you could, but it never gets dried properly, so you end up putting it back on in the morning instead of putting it in the bag wet and then putting dry stuff on. You might as well just put the wet stuff back on and let it dry out. But when I could, I would swap over. I had this long sleeve shirt from Mons, and it's merino with a windbreaker panel in the front, so that was a really, really good sort of intermediate jersey. I wore that lots too. if it got any colder, I would just put my rain jacket over, and that completely blocked out all the wind and kept you warm. So yeah, that was the clothing. On the back here, which is where I had my tracker bolted onto. Now the bike's really trying to fall over. So in this bag here, it's kind of, you had the tracker bolted onto the handle there. And that was the spot tracker that they gave you for the event. This bag here I kept, it was only ever half full, which was good for when I went to supermarkets for resupplies. I was able to pack heaps of food into this. But yeah, bumper bars that I still didn't need. Head torch, absolutely need a head torch. I was getting up at, well, the alarm would go off at 5 o'clock every morning, pack up everything in the tent before I'd jump out of the tent, and yeah, it was dark till just after 7, and at night, yeah, so head torch. I picked up some winter riding gloves. I didn't have any initially. I thought I was going to just handle the cold, but ended up getting really cold and my hands were frozen, so I got some winter gloves that I picked up. Butt butter, yeah, you go for heaps of this stuff and you have to. I was very, very lucky that I actually didn't have bugger all issues. Some people had issues of blisters or sores on day 3. So yeah, I was very, very lucky. Plastic bag that had all my toiletries. I had some toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, and I had some like pseudo cream, like nappy rash cream, which I should have put in a smaller container. But yeah, that's really good for any little niggles you get on your butt. It clears it up really, really well. It's just, yeah, it's just a matter of keeping very clean when you get to camp. Dry, get that on, and yeah, with the seat it was really good. I was lucky. Electrolyte tablets, use those, yeah, every time I had water. I do sweat a lot, so yeah, pretty important. Cup, Cedar Summit pop-up cup. I actually hardly ever used it, or maybe even used it only once, but it's still very handy. Doesn't weigh much. Batteries for the headlamp. Had to take spare batteries for the spot tracker that was bolted to the bag. I also had stuff like zip ties, and I also had a spare belt for my bike. So yeah, so that bag was really, really good because it was nice and convenient, and yeah, I could put heaps of food in that. That was awesome. So up front, under the aero bars in the front bag, I had my rain jacket, which isn't a light rain jacket. It was just my mountain biking one that I had, Liet one I think it is, but it did the trick. Really good at keeping me warm. It's been the South Island. I got every morning it was worn. I had a little bag up the front here, which is from Stealth Bags in Wellington. He makes really, really good bags. In this bag I kept a ton of muesli bars and the books, the guide books. So they're nice and handy to sort of always pull out when I went the wrong way and check. Bluetooth headphones, my bike lock, riding glasses, yeah, and lots of food. Peanut butter sachets and muesli bars. Yeah, I got sick of eating muesli bars, never eating them again. But yeah, could also be really good when you're on the ferries, because it was also like a belt bag that you could wear to keep all your valuables in. So up the front, so this is the bigger of the bags from Aero. I forget the sizes now, so I won't say because I'll get it wrong. So yeah, they have two sizes. There's the slightly smaller ones, and these are slightly bigger ones. So, and this was mainly my sleeping kit, and a few bits of other pieces. Oh, towel, just yeah, small towel. First aid kit, and didn't even open it, but yeah, you've got to take it. There's some pretty hardcore sections on that trail that you can have a nasty crash. I had a few little crashes, but never hurt myself. But yeah, definitely have to carry that. All my electronics and cables and charging spare batteries for the GoPro. I had a 20,000 milliamp power bank, which was awesome. I could go easy 3 days with just this without going to somewhere to charge all my gear. And I was charging a rear light, front light, my GPS, the GoPro batteries, and my phone. So yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, you could get away for 10,000, but yeah, I did like the extra security of having that to charge everything. So yeah, that was the electronics, the cables. I had this down jacket, I think it's from Kathmandu, which packs inside its own pocket. I actually love this jacket. Yeah. After the first 5 days in Northland, well, we got down to sort of Mangakino. The first 5 days were scorching hot, and it was definitely t-shirt and shorts, and after that the rain and overcast weather came in, and it was like that for the rest of the TA. But yeah, it's really lightweight, thin as, and awesome, packed down to nothing. And yeah, I lived in that for the whole South Island and lower North Island. It was awesome. I'll wait for that one. I had these waterproof pants from Ground Effect. I think they're splashdowns. Awesome pants, awesome riding pants, but I rode in them once. I actually used them as night pants around camp when it was cold. Yeah, I didn't have to ride. Yeah, didn't need to ride them in during the day, but if I had to, they were there, and it would have been brilliant. But yeah, I don't really get cold legs when I ride, luckily. But yeah, I use these in the evening around camp, and it's good for when you're off the bike, keeping the sandflies off you, because those sandflies in the South Island are vicious little suckers. They'll suck you dry in no time. So yeah, really good pants. Sleeping bag. Oh no, sleeping pad. This was a mistake. I bought this because it was ultra light, and yeah, for me, I should have gone for comfort. It's I think it was 5 centimeters thick. I should have gone for the 8 centimeter one. It's so noisy, it was like sleeping on cellophane. Lucky I didn't get a hole in it for the whole TA. I did get a hole in it in a ride before the TA, but yeah, that I want to throw in the bin, but it costs too much money. That yeah, I will replace with a quieter pad and a thicker pad. I'm a side sleeper and my hips were just killing me. Yeah, but it did keep me warm though. That was the only good thing about it. I never got cold from the ground. Little blow up pillow, Cedar Summit as well. That was really good. That was a sleeping bag liner from Cedar Summit. Also really good. Definitely adds a few degrees of warmth to your sleeping bag. And in the top half of the North Island, I actually just used this instead of my sleeping bag because it was so hot at night. And it also keeps, if you're dirty, it keeps your sleeping pad and sleeping bag clean, because all your muck gets stuck inside this, which I did do quite a few nights in dock camps where there were no showers and you had to wait 1 or 2 days before you could get a shower. So yeah, these are really good. This is my sleeping bag, and in a nice compression sack. So yeah, nice and light. And this is actually one of the bit of kit I spent a bit of money on. I actually had it made for me, so it's actually a quilt, not a sleeping bag, made from Kiwi ultralight down in Nelson. And yeah, you just tell her what temperature rating you want. So this is a 0-degree bag, and you tell her your size and sort of what width you want, and they make them, yeah, custom make them to size. And I absolutely love this. Definitely worth every penny. It felt like you had nothing on you, but yeah, get rid of. But yeah, just a quilt. You could, they had little domes on it where you could actually go around and clip it together if you sort of wanted a sleeping bag, and it had like a little foot box on it on the bottom that you could do up. But awesome bit of kit. Loved it, never got cold, and we did get some really cold nights in the South Island, and I was toasty warm. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, nowhere near getting cold, so yeah, I can imagine I could go some cold nights in there. So that was really good. Under here, it's kind of a bag that I put stuff in that I wasn't going to use that often. And for a while there, I even completely forgot what was in this. But I did have a Cedar Summit Ultra Sil backpack, which is really good. You can really load these up with a lot of weight. And they handle it. It has a little bag that you can stuff it into, but I had this initially hanging off the back of my bike up here, and it got rubbed and it ripped, but so I just stuffed it into there. But yeah, when you're at supermarkets, loading up with, yeah, drinks and food and fruit, and yeah, I use this every time I went to the supermarket. That was brilliant. And sort of like wet wipes for cleaning when you needed to. More electrolyte tabs, tea, coffee, which has got wet, I have to go in the bin. Some tape, bike pump, repair kit, and some tyre plugs for, yeah, puncture repair. Yeah, so that didn't need to open this bag too much, so that was fine. I turned one of my drink bottles on my bike into a toolbox. So I just had all my bike tools, puncture repair kit, tyre levers, brake pads. So brake pads, a lot of people change them at the top of the South Island or Wellington. I put new pads on before I started the TA. I actually changed them in Reefton before tackling Big River, and actually the brake pads, I much could have done the whole TA on the one set. I just changed them for a bit of insurance, but they actually still had heaps of meat left on them. Didn't change the front, just the rear ones. And yeah, it was just more as a bit of an added security that I changed it, but they were actually still really good. But it's still really good to have them. Some people really go through their brake pads, but being my bike, a full mountain bike and big rotors, and that, it doesn't tend to chew the pads up. The top bag here, which is another one from Stealth, I kept my reading glasses, my cell phone, wallet. I had titanium, can't get spork, just because they put it in another bag, it cuts right through it, so it's sharp, so I had to keep it in there. I had two feed bags. So this feed bag, I always kept my drinking bottle, and in the other feed bag on the other side, I kept like sunscreen, insect repellent, some Voltaren gel, yeah, and muesli bars and chapstick, yeah, so it was quite nice and handy for all those little bits and pieces. I did have 2 more water bottles strapped to the forks. I had to put these grunt straps on because as soon as I hit a bump the bottles go flying out, which it did happen because I left one of these straps in the car park, and then the next track I went on I lost a bottle, and very luckily somebody picked up the strap and another person picked up the bottle and recognised I was the owner and gave them back, so that was fantastic. That was a very good day. That was awesome. But yeah, so I had the 3 bottles which are 750ml bottles, and then I had another extra bottle up here which is 450, so that was good. What else? Oh, aero bars, the profile design 50As, they were fantastic. Lived in those as much as I possibly could, not for aero but for comfort, to stop getting ham numbness. And yeah, it actually made you a couple kilometers faster when you got into them, which was, yeah, this was really good. Up front I had my GPS Garmin 530 Edge, mostly worked 98% of the time. Every now and then it will tell you you're off course when you're on course. When there is absolutely no other road you could possibly be on, it will tell you to do a U-turn, but pretty much everybody had little glitches with their GPS. Up front I had my riding light. This light was awesome, Lizine 800 XL. I think I got it through Ground Effect. I didn't even have to use it on the most powerful setting, I think like 3 down from that, and it was still enough light to ride in the pitch black. I absolutely loved it, went forever. Yeah, great light. I actually lost my light that I originally had a couple of weeks before I did the T8, so I had to get a new one, and yeah, I'm glad I got that one. And on the back it was just a little light I got from Specialized, I think. Actually, once again, I lost the original rear light I had on a trip, fell off. Yeah, it was just did what it did, blinked away all day long. Yeah, just nice, easy to charge, just plugged it into straight into my power bank, and yeah, did its job. The bike, oh actually the saddle first, is a Brooks B17 saddle that Liesl brought back from England for me. Absolutely awesome. It was so good. When you do the whole 3,000 kilometers, 25 days, and you're in it for 8 hours a day, and you had bugger all issues, you know the saddle was a good choice. I've always suffered with sore button saddles, and it still was definitely sore. You can't ride all day like that and not get sore, but I didn't get, have bugger all issues. So highly recommend the Brooks B17, fantastic. But you do got to break them in before you start riding any long trips, and have to take a while. That was awesome. And also had a spare tube taped to the bike, a little bit ugly, but I should have put it in a bag to give it all protection, but I never had to use it, and I did the whole TA without a single puncture, which is pretty impressive because a lot of people had multiple punches. So yeah, I was pretty lucky. I did have to change up my rear tyre in Nelson, just with the extra weight on the rear tyre I had on. I had a Mazgal on the rear, and yeah, it just got, it was totally worn out, and I didn't want to risk doing the rest of the South Island on a near worn out tyre, so I picked this up in Nelson on Icon, which is still a very good touring tyre to do this sort of thing. The bike is a zeroed Katapo 475. It's obviously not a touring bike, it is my mountain bike. The option of buying a touring bike wasn't an option. I had to sort of use what I had. It has got a 9-speed gearbox in here, so no derailleur, with a Gates carbon belt drive, which for touring is actually a fantastic piece of kit. It's super low maintenance. The first day on 90 Mile Beach we had to ride through a stream, and it was causing all sorts of headaches for people with chains, and I just breezed through there. Mud, rain, dirt, everything. It doesn't worry it. So it's, yeah, really, really, really awesome. So I was actually quite excited about doing the TA of the belt drive. But yeah, it's pretty much an enduro bike, which, yeah, unfortunately does make it very, very heavy, very, very strong, so I'm never going to have to worry about breaking the bike. I did sort of semi-lock out the rear shock and put a bit more PSI in both shocks to stiffen them up a little bit, just so it wouldn't be bouncing around with all the gear on it. So it was pretty good. I certainly had a lot of fun on all the downhill sections and all the rough stuff compared to people on fully rigid bikes, and having fatter or mountain bike tyres definitely helped. Yeah, there was a couple of sections where a lot of people actually just took the detour around Mangatapu Saddle and Big River, and yeah, that wasn't an option for me. I was definitely going to be doing those tricky bits of the track. For me, it was part of doing the TA. Though, but yeah, the bike was awesome. I did blow out the front bearings in the hub, but that was just, their bearings are pretty old, and I'm sure I should have put some new ones in before starting the TA. And yeah, new rear tyre, and other than that, the bike was faultless. The shifting for the bike is just done with a grip shift. So yeah, which is good because you don't have to pedal the gears in. You can just go from 9 all the way to 1 in one go, and it's done. Yeah, obviously these aren't my mountain biking grips. Again, just got these for comfort, just to stop the hand numbness. But yeah, not a touring bike, but it did the job. I possibly won't use it again. The bike definitely took a few knocks, just get a few scratches and marks, and I get knocked around a little bit. Was looking a lot prettier before the TA, but yeah, one day I will get a proper touring bike. It's definitely the goal, but this did the trick. Definitely got a few locks. It was a bit unconventional, but yeah, that was the gear and the bike for the TA. Cool.